Well, good morning. It's just gone 10 a.m. Sunday morning here in Brisbane, Australia. Thanks for joining my live stream. I'm a few minutes later than scheduled, as usual, because I'm always mucking around setting up at the last minute. But anyway, nice warm day here. Sorry, not nice warm day, chilly day, nice blue sky. And I'm just set up in my front entrance here, or the front entrance of the house. So I'll just give it a minute for people to join and, hello. I'll give it a minute for people to join. Go and make a cup of coffee or tea, or if you feel like it, go and get something cold out of the fridge, or some water. And I'll just give it a minute or two for a few people to join. I realise most of you will probably watch this at some stage after. Anyway, the main topic today, which I'll get into shortly, will be tips for small YouTubers, some of which you would have heard before, and also I have a playlist of YouTube help tips that I've made. Not that I've made many, I've made quite a few, I guess, over the years, but I always refer it to my mate Alan Spicer, who does that. That's his full topic, his full genre. So, yeah, but anyway, check those out if you like. Also, vlogging tips, if you do that sort of thing. I have a playlist of those too. I'll put both of those at the end. So before we really get started, and you get your cup of coffee, I should have put shoes on because it's actually quite chilly with my bare feet down here. Yeah, I will probably, depending how this goes, hopefully the wind won't get up too badly. I'm just using my rubbish old phone, and I'll probably make a podcast of this and these tips, which you're welcome to listen to. Yes, I've been making podcasts for probably nearly 2 years. Down in the description you'll find the link to that. That's if you press the more button there, you'll see the description will open up. Okay, but before we really get into it, I wanted to first of all say thank you to everyone for your thoughts and wishes over the sad death of my friend Lena Sandstrom, which I made a tribute video to 3 weeks ago, around about this time. Time goes quickly, doesn't it? I'll grab some water. I meant to make this video a week or two ago, this live stream, to thank everyone for being part of my 2,000 subscribers. And then I thought, well, I may as well make some tips. G'day, Craig. I was just saying that, yeah, I meant to thank everyone for the 2,000 subscriber count that I now have. I'm a bit over it now, 2,030 or whatever. I average about around about 60 new subscribers a month, according to YouTube analytics. So, anyway, I thought, well, I may as well make some tips for small YouTubers. I've been a YouTuber for 14 years, just about. So I've picked up a thing or two, and I have some tips. Some of these you would have all heard before if you've been around long enough. However, they're worthwhile going over again. And in Good Morning, Let's Begin quotes. I'll have some shout outs at the end too for people who haven't returned the shout out of before. So before I get into that, I have a little knock knock joke just to warm things up. Should have put socks on my feet. Anyway, and I'm going for the record of the worst one person knock knock joke in history. So yeah, it's okay. So knock knock. Come on, who's there? Knock knock. Who's there? Interrupting cow. Interrupting cow. Moo. All right, that's it. Yeah, all right. Okay, so if you're watching this back after the live stream, yeah, we'll get right into it now. And I guess I've made a couple of key points on a piece of paper. It's one of my favourite jokes. And I'll put this up on a podcast so long as the wind noise isn't too bad. So, moving on, in no particular order, and I know for a fact after this I'll go, oh, I forgot to mention that. All week I've been thinking of examples and things, so I'll give a few examples along the way. The fortunate part about live streaming is I don't have to edit it, which saves me at least an average of 50 hours editing per video sometimes. But I'll just wing it and try and be a little bit coherent, but no guarantees. I'll just do my best. So I guess my number one suggestion, and I have suggested this to people that are starting out, whether they choose to listen or not is another thing. Actually, there's a couple of points. If you're brand new, my number one absolute suggestion is you have to use tags, or keywords as I still call them, because otherwise Google cannot find your video. Okay, and also meant to say I'll do a Q&A at the end for any questions, and if you're watching this back after the live stream, you can put those in the comments because I always answer every comment. So yeah, Google and YouTube, same company, owned by Alphabet now, they rely on being able to search for information that people are looking for. So you can make the very best video of any particular genre or topic that you like, but if no one can find it, you've wasted your time. So you have to use tags. If you should be using YouTube Studio, and you can put up, you can put up to 500 characters in there. And that's changed a lot too over the years, but we'll get into that in a while. If you can't, look, all right, I nearly made a video about this, but I thought, well, I'll just put it in the live stream. I did something last week that took me a lot of hours to fix. There goes Big Eyes the cat over there. You don't need to see that, do you? All right, hang on. There's Big Eyes down there. Big Eyes. Can you see her? There she comes. Right. Oh, live Big Eyes. All right, so one night I messed around a bit and decided I'll change the title of the video a bit. So I did that using my phone. Make sure you never do this, because I changed the title, pressed the little arrow, it said saved. I thought, okay, good. Next day I checked at my computer, which I do all my YouTube work, and half of my tags were gone. Because when you do that on your phone, I think it only lets you have around 100 characters. So all those many, many hours of work, which is always the follow-up of making a video for me, they're all gone. So I had to go and make up tags and everything. Big Eyes is very dirty at the moment. Oh, she's been rolling around in grass. Yeah, so don't ever do that on your phone. If you're going to use your phone to adjust anything, go into Create a Studio. If you don't have it, make sure you download that app. Now I do everything on my computer. I realise most people don't have a home computer anymore, or a PC, personal computer. I still do, and that's my preferred weapon of choice. Most people have a notepad, laptop, iPad, whatever you call it. Yeah, so take the time to do that. Tags are absolutely crucial, no matter what sort of video you make or what topic. Like, all right, I'm going to think of some examples on the fly. Say you're making a movie about, a video about how to make cats more beautiful. This is how random my mind works. Okay, in those keywords that you got to think, what are people looking for? Okay, let's assume people are looking for that. So they're going to type in, how do I make my cat more beautiful, in YouTube, in the search engine, or even on Google. Okay, so then if you have a tag or that phrase, that bunch of keywords in your video, that will help Google go, oh, there's a video about how to make cats more beautiful. You get what I mean? So then add more tags, similar, so YouTube will know what the video is about. What would it be? How to make your cat look better. How to make your cat look more appealing. This is just off the top of my head. They're not very good examples, but I'm trying to get that thought into your head. Now you have to have those in your tag area. And you're allowed 500. Like I say, don't do it on your phone. If you are going to do it on your phone, make sure you install the Creator Studio app. It's free, and yeah, try and get as many of those 500 characters as you can, because that all helps. Good morning, Rachel. Yeah, so I know I'm waffling on a bit, and that's what I'm like in real life, but I'm just trying to get some key points across to people. So that would be my number one suggestion. Number two, while I mention it, if you're new, make sure for YouTube you are always using your camera or phone horizontally, like you're seeing it now, vertically, because people, vertical is fine if you're on Instagram or something like that, but that's another one. Another major tip, if you're filming something like I am now, which is typically called a talking head video, because you're just seeing a talking head, make sure the background noise comes into play. You've got a little bit of wind noise in the background here at the moment. Hopefully you're not picking that up on the camera. But for goodness sake, do not have your TV set in the background blaring away, or a movie. Have it as quiet as possible, because microphones will pick up an enormous lot of background. And sorry if I'm a bit quivery, I'm actually starting to shiver here. Ooh, it is quite chilly. Okay, back to my notes. Some people too say, well, if I'm starting out on YouTube, or if I'm not getting anywhere on YouTube, what sort of genre is the word? What sort of topic should I make? Well, if you haven't heard me say this before, where have you been? I'm not a good example of that, because I've always just started off making whatever I like, and that's the way I'll probably end up always being. But the thing is, if you really want to boost, pick a topic about something that you know and make videos on that. Now remember that, and let me just check, I never know. Oh, that's the camera, I thought so. I really should have done this in the sun. Oh, by the way, also, make sure you've got decent lighting. Never stand in the midday sun doing a video, because it'll be extremely contrasting. It just won't work. The exception to that could be if it's a very overcast day, because as per some of my how to vlog series, I've mentioned lighting. It's absolutely important. Contrast, overcast days, I know from my life as a professional photographer many years ago, the lighting's very good because it's more even, it's diffused by the clouds. Or you can do what I've done. I've just broken a pot plant. This is a little fill light, if you can see that. Now this is just a little cheap one, because I have much better lights too. These things are around about $20 to $30. Okay, now you see You see how I'm lighting this side of my face just with that? Now this is not a good light to use because I'm out here under the front entrance of my place near the garden, but it's there anyway. I mean, you can mount these on top of your camera if you had a proper camera. It'll give you better lighting. If you don't, and if you were going to do just a video inside, okay, if you're going to make a video inside your kitchen, say, sit near the kitchen window in the daytime. Obviously with the light coming in the window, don't sit there with the light behind you because you're just going to see a black silhouette, and that's not good. So lighting is another important thing. So where was I? Yeah, so the type of video, the genre, I never used to like that word, but anyway, it means the type of video. What sort of video should you make? Or videos, if you really want to move ahead with hopefully views, subscribers, everything. As I said, pick a topic that you know something about or enjoy. And there is a limitless supply of types that you can do. One of the hardest probably is vlogging, because so many people are vlogging, which basically just means, like I did recently, made videos around my area. I'll get into that if I remember it shortly. Okay, so I'll pick a few examples, and these are really tough ones to get anywhere with because there's so many people making them. But cooking videos are extremely sought after. Travel videos, just anything you can think of, sewing, dancing, you name it. And as the years go on, growing as a YouTuber is becoming much harder. Yeah, so I really should have warmed up. I'm shivering here. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah. And also comes into play is the title of your video. Once you've taken care of tags and everything like that, make sure they're never misleading titles. But you may want to check this by typing things into Google and trying to narrow down the thing, like the example I just used, how to make my cat more beautiful. You'll see there'll be a number of suggestions come up. They will be better than, as a title, than starting afresh with something abstract like, my cat did this. Because unless you're a major top YouTuber, yeah, people aren't going to search for that. When you are a Casey Neistat or a number of other, ultra YouTubers, they can put whatever title they like because the algorithm, the artificial intelligence or AI of YouTube, which has become extremely smart, does not apply to people like that. I think once you're over 1 million subscribers, everything I'm telling you here can basically go out the window. But until you're at that point, you have to put in the hard yards, and the tags are most important. So try and pick a title that is searchable, that people are after. That would be a little tip. That would be a little tip I could give you there. So now, on that topic of subscribers, let me put it this way. People, and we all get them, sub for subs, as they're called, come and visit my channel. Okay. Now, I've said this in another live stream. Everyone that subscribes to me and clicks the bell, I get an email. Oh, new subscriber. I always go and check out that person's channel. Sometimes they don't have videos, they're just a viewer. But the ones that do, I'll look at their videos, or one or two of their videos, and I thought, if I like it, I will subscribe. But I won't subscribe just because you're saying check out my channel. Okay? And on that point, I'm sorry I'm shivering. I hope it's not coming across that way too much. Oh, it's cold here today. On that point, I would recommend that you, I'm going off on a tangent, aren't I? On that point, I'd recommend you don't focus so much on how many subscribers you have. It's nice as an egotistical point to have a lot of subscribers. But here's the thing, and people accidentally aren't doing you favours sometimes when they do subscribe, or not when they do subscribe, but if they check out your channel, if they check out your latest video for a few seconds while they go, great video, and then move on, the algorithm of YouTube starts to see that and they go, oh, well, people are only watching this 10-minute video for 10 seconds. Well, it can't be a very good video. I don't think we'll push it out. So there's that too. So I would ask, if you're watching this or any of my videos, kindly watch the entire thing. Now, this one's a bit of an exception because it is a live stream and I'm prattling on quite a lot. This one, you're quite welcome to go off and, I don't know, wear your earpods or whatever, just listen to it while you're doing whatever around the house. Hey, puppy breath. G'day. And I'll be watching this later and being able to read the comments, but I'm just trying to look at the camera and not go off on too much of a tangent. Yeah, so if you can watch the entire video, or at least listen to it, as some people do, that is doing a much bigger favour to the person you've subscribed to than just subscribing. Because YouTube goes by watch time. If you make a 10-minute video, for example, now I know for a fact that at the most I'd probably have one handful, maybe two, of people that will watch my entire video, which I think is a shame because I put 50 hours or 2 weeks into some videos. And yeah, if they're just listening, as I know some people did or do, well, that's good too, but you do miss a lot of the little subtle tricks that people like myself put in and spend many hours creating even the tiniest little change. But so be it. You're far better off if you want to help that person's channel grow, mine or anyone that you subscribe to, actually watch the video. And I know that's a big ask. And here's the other thing. When you're hoping for subscribers, you have to ask yourself, am I giving that person value for their time that they're investing watching that video? Now, you may wonder what I mean by that. And I'm not going to pick out any particular examples or people. But, all right, let's say, try and keep on topic. I wouldn't recommend that you go using clips from TV as your regular video. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how many of you are old enough, but getting a little bit croaky. Do you remember the old slideshows? And people used to have slide nights and, you know, they'd been on a trip and they might invite a few people around, come watch my slides, all right. And then you sit through an hour or two of their slides. That's interesting to them that have been there, or their partner. Not so much interesting to other people, especially big long shows. There's an old trick I learnt back when I started in the film industry 34 years ago. You shouldn't make any shot longer than 6 seconds on average. So, yeah, let's say you're in a park. Sheer example. And your video consists of, you know, showing that plant behind me there as a still shot. I'll disappear from shot. I can't, I fall off the chair. Now, do you want to sit and watch that for 5 minutes? I don't think so, even with nice background music. So, I would suggest, in that example, if you're out and about, pop your head into shot occasionally. Check out this plant. That's really nice. That's a Strathophilum clevelandine. And then go back to your video. You know what I mean? It's hard to give off-the-fly examples, especially when you're shivering and you didn't put anything on your bare feet. Well, yeah. So, again, that's an example. So if you're having a topic of being out in the park, just stick to that topic. You know, don't go putting, racing cars running around, and it doesn't sort of fit. And to make a video that's too long, that's a really big ask, expecting people to watch that for an hour or an hour and a half. You really need to supply some entertainment in that video, because otherwise, that's a really big chunk out of a person's day to sit and watch that long. You'd be better off making a 5 or 10 minute video with a bit of variety in it, but still sticking to that topic. I'll use an example of my recent vlog that ended up being about 20 minutes long. The original theme in my head was interesting things around where I live. Now, I didn't use that as the title in the end, because when I tried to search in Google for that, people aren't particularly looking at interesting things around where I live. Interesting things near me, yes, that is a bit of a search term. And what happened there, my intention was simply to go out to Lake Manchester, which I hadn't been to in over 25 years. And it's only, 10 kilometres away. It's not that far. So that was the idea. And I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll stop at this little memorial here, which you'll see in the vlog. And then went out to Lake Manchester, took the drone, did some footage there, came back, and I thought, well, I'll check out the cemetery down the road. So we did that, met Neville, which you may have seen in the video, who was the one of the people from the Mogul Historical Society. And, I thought, oh, Neville, do you mind just filming this to camera? Yeah, the rest. So I ended up with 6 or 7 different topics in the one vlog. The whole 20-minute vlog didn't get many views, really, and of that, I'd say that my average view time is about 2 minutes. And I wasn't real happy with the vlog because I won't get too technical, and I won't deep dive into anything too much here either. You can check out my YouTube help playlist for some of those things, or my vlogging playlist, which I'll put up at the end after the video. But the point is, I decided to break it down into 4 more short videos of a few minutes long, which you may have seen. Because I thought if someone's searching that particular thing like Lake Manchester, all right, I'll just make it about Lake Manchester. I had a bit of an intro from the video with the drone flying and things like that. The cemetery, I just made it about the cemetery, and things like that. And that way, people that are searching specifically for those things will find it, and they won't have to sit through 10 minutes before that particular topic comes up. Just excuse me for 1 minute. Check out my garden. I just have to disappear. Sorry about this. Go make another cup of coffee. Be right back. Okay, have you finished your coffee? Making it? there's the definite downside of live streaming. I can't edit things out. Just had to address something. Okay, and like I said in the beginning, this is the problem when you've got a number of topics you're trying to squish into one to help people. And the order may be different too, totally different actually, to what I'd do if I just shot this as a video. But I'll soldier on. On the topic of obtaining and holding an audience, most people don't subscribe to your channel. Now I have, I have quite a few videos that have done extremely well. And you'll find the majority of those videos are older videos. What I've found is the ones that get the most views are topics that are fairly unique or ones that people are searching for. Like there's actually two I've made about the missing, what they call, tiny little screw for this little SSD hard drive that I bought. Now, in that example only, it was a problem for me because I did all the computer stuff. Oh, there's no screw to mount this little drive. And I figured out, well, I looked for it 2 days and then I found it in the bottom of the box, just hiding there in a little packet. So I thought I'll make a video about this. It's been a huge success because everyone else is finding the same thing. They open up their computer bits and there's no screws. So people are searching for that topic. Other successful ones I've had, there's been quite a few ideas that I've thought of myself. I believe I've never found other ones like it. Some of those are health related, like rosacea cures that I've discovered work when I get it. And a recent one, late last year, was a little a hack that I found for my Ford, my car, one of my cars. And that's done very well because by sheer fluke, I thought, how do I solve this problem? And I thought there must be a back door to this whole idea. You know, I don't have a code for the radio. And it was a big problem. And I just fiddled around with a few buttons, boom, found it. That's been hugely successful because as far as I know, nobody else ever discovered that. Anyway, so that unique sort of topics will generally get views. There are other type of topics called evergreen topics and ones that I call seasonal videos. Off the top of my head, examples. Christmas time, that comes around every year. Easter comes around every year. So every year, if you've had videos about that topic, you will get viewed. I mean, the thing is there's billions of the same topic, but because people are searching for it, you will get more views. More unique things like brand new openings of events. And Craig, I'll use your example about your new stadium that you videoed last year before, in Perth. Because it was a new topic, people searching, oh, give me details about this. So whenever there's an event at that stadium now, Craig will find the views will go up because people are searching afresh. Yep. And that's the way it goes. So you want to try and make your content a little bit unique. Having said that, personally, I'd rather sit and watch someone talking about something than I would watching a compilation of pictures that are randomly put together with no particular topic. A lot of the time, I think most of the time, people watch your channel because they like you as a person. Something about you is unique, hopefully entertaining, but something they like about you. So if you're only going to make one type of video and it's just you talking, that's fine too. Make sure you have good lighting. Now, not everyone can afford or have the best equipment that's out there, and that's fine. Use what you have as a tool. This live stream, it's just a really old rubbish phone because my later phone basically kept dying, and I'm hoping this one doesn't cut out. I'm actually only about 10 feet or so from the Wi-Fi, so that side of things should be okay. Yeah, and that's the thing. Random pictures with music, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if you're putting an hour plus long video of it. You won't get many people will watch that. They might listen to the music if it's nice, but yeah. So if you're going to do that, and that's fine too if that's the type of video you want to make it on a theme. Preferably use photographs or video that you've taken yourself. But if you are going to get pictures that you just acquire from somewhere else, at least use very high quality sharp pictures, because these days there's no excuse for horrible resolution photos. If you're going to video anything, make sure you're at least using 1080 DPI. There's no new cameras that don't do that as a bare minimum. You don't have to use 4K. There are slight visual advantages, but the disadvantages when you're editing, it takes forever to render. And not everyone views it at 4K either for whatever reason, especially this year. YouTube has done something with their bandwidth, and you're not seeing 4K videos generally as sharp and as smooth as they used to be. There's a lot of pauses and so hopefully they'll fix that up after this whole thing changes this year. Getting a little bit technical, if you have a choice, is frame rates. And this is something I really wasn't happy with my last longer vlog of a few weeks ago. Because I mixed frame rates, I have roughly 700 videos here. I have a lot of stock footage, as they call it, or B-roll or cutaway shots that I'll often put into videos just to help. I like to try and make a bit of a story, even if it is a vlog, which is one of my favourite things to do. But there's a lot of huge vloggers out there that are very entertaining. So yeah, again, make the content you want, but try and stick to one particular genre most times. That's if you really want to grow fast. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for 14 years and I've only just passed the 2,000 subscriber mark. I did get about 1,000 subscribers knocked off me once because YouTube was going through this process of any sudden spike on a topic, they'd go, oh, that person must have bought those subscribers. It is against all rules to buy subscribers. I don't even know if you can anymore, but don't consider doing it because the AI is so smart, it will pick up on ghost subscribers. So just don't do that because you risk your channel being deleted from YouTube altogether. So yeah, looking down at my little notes. YouTube itself, if you go into YouTube Studio, you'll find there's a lot of useful help videos and things you can read. Also use tools. I've been using something called TubeBuddy for many years to help. Also, in the last 6 months, I've been using vidIQ, and I'm using a bit of a combination of both at the moment. Currently using the free version. I have several times upgraded to a paid version. Haven't found it's an awful lot better in help. When I started on YouTube, like I say, just about 14 years ago, it was a lot easier because Google used to have all these suggested things down the bottom. You go, add that one, that one, that one. add them. Yeah, well, it changed. I don't know why. YouTube always changes things. Even recently, they've taken. If you look under videos, you no longer see the subject or the description, whatever they call it. I can't remember. Topic. Like it used to be. Okay, under here could be people and vlogs or entertainment. Oh, sorry. Education or how to. That's disappeared. YouTube did say over a year ago that that no longer applies, but it was still there. I don't know why. Maybe it's still helping the artificial intelligence learn because that's how it learns things, but that's no longer on display, so that's a bit of a, yeah, one of a few things that are still there that doesn't seem to make any sense. But what I wanted to say was there's a lot of helpful things inside YouTube Studio itself. About a year and a half ago, I became a YouTube certified expert or a Google certified expert. You can do that little course yourself. When I say little, it took me months doing it in between jobs. And it got so complex, I tell you what, unless you've done it, you have no idea how deep that goes. But I just did it for myself. I just thought, well, it'll help me maybe learn a bit more about how the system works. It in no way whatsoever offers you any advantage. There's no favoritism from YouTube to put your videos out there more if you've passed that. There's none of that. So it was just for my own reasons. A lot of it was boring. A lot of it, especially the copyright aspect of things, I really think, and the marketing parts, I really think are aimed at big corporations, IT experts and marketing experts, but nevertheless it was part of the course. And typically they say people retain 5% of the information they learn. Well, I'd probably be closer to 0.5%, but still, it also helps you feel you've achieved something. And it may have added a little bit to the knowledge I have about how YouTube works. So I think there was mostly the examples. I might actually look at the screen now. Do you have any questions if you're a creator that I might not have covered? TubeBuddy is pretty cool. All right, so if you're watching this as a replay, you can feel free to ask questions down below in the comment section, and I will get back to you with an answer. I'm very sorry that I've shivered a lot. Well, I've got some water here, Craig. So what I'm really hanging for is to put some socks on because I really didn't think this out. I'm in a shaded area here, which you've seen, Craig. Check out Craig and myself's collab video earlier this year, just before you know what happened. So I want to do a couple of shout outs. I know there's things I haven't included in this. Like I say, it's not a normal video where I could chop it down into a much more compartmentalized topics and shift things around. But yeah, and I know there's a couple of people off this list too. No, it's all right. I'm nearly finished now. Puppy breath. I'll just have a coffee and sit out in Studio A on that side of the house in the sun for a while. Yeah, and Craig, you're one of the people that's been there, and yeah. So a couple of shout outs. I know there's at least one person I'm leaving off this. Reverse shout outs to the people who've done little either video or mentions to myself recently that I haven't mentioned before. In no particular order. Sis Hardy Vlogs. Thank you very much. Michaela Puskas. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing every name correctly. Thank you. Much appreciated. Love Surf Bunny. Big thumbs up to you as well. Let's Begin Quotes, thank you so much for the mentions. And also Furry Animals for your very unique shout out. There are a couple more, and this one, it's... anyway, look, if you've done a mention to me, I appreciate it a lot. And it's just like subscribers. I appreciate everyone that subscribes, and more to the point, I appreciate people that watch my videos. And as I said, if you can't watch them, at least listen to them. And I'll re-mention that I probably, depending on how the audio sounds with that, cheers, I will put this as a podcast in due course on my podcast channel, which is down below in the description area. Does everyone know that there's a lot more under the video when you watch it? If you click show more, there's a little arrow and you can see all the stuff. Oh, here's a little tip too I meant to say. And some of this is a fairly new thing that's been brought to my attention. What will also help you, or help Google, work out what sort of YouTube video you're making. The first paragraph under you have up to 200 tags. Go back to what I was saying about how to make your cat look more beautiful. Find out your best tags and use vidIQ or TubeBuddy to find some good tags. Put up to 200 characters of those tags right at the very top of your description, in the description area. I still then have, after those 200 on your phone, I think it's about 100 or 150 or so, I still have a link to subscribe to your channel. Then have a paragraph under that, basically outlining what the video is about. Try and be tactfully keyword heavy with those. Mention, this video is about how to make my cat look more beautiful. I beautified my cat by doing blah blah. You can beautify your cat as well if you follow these directions. So that paragraph, Google, YouTube, will go, so that video is about how to make a cat more beautiful. There's a little trick. Then you can also, a fairly new thing called indexing, which I haven't mentioned myself before, but I've told people about. Go and check out Alan Spicer's video on that. Michaela also did a video on that. Indexing also helps Google a little bit. It's all about its artificial intelligence, which is extremely good. It doesn't always get things right. Another thing I was going to mention is you also have to do another couple of things, extra bits of work these days because of changes to things. COPA, the whole thing about children, is this video meant for children, is another example, a recent one, and a further change YouTube's made. You have to say whether this video is or isn't made for kids, quote unquote, kids. If you don't, YouTube's likely to, especially if you're showing kids in your video or mentioning kids a lot, or you have too many little cartoon type things, YouTube will go, well, it's for kids. That limits your ads if you're running ads. Don't know if it totally gets rid of them, but certainly limits them. And there's another thing, it disables comments for those sort of videos, so people can't comment. So there's that you've got to be aware of. You have to click whether or not your video follows these guidelines. There's a whole lot of things. There are parts of the old YouTube studio I still prefer, but that's now been finished once and for all. I've learnt to use the new studio more. Well, there's no option now. It's not perfect, and I'm sure along the way they'll change it more. Another key point, and this is what I meant to mention in the beginning. When I started YouTube, I was just making any sort of thing. It wasn't deliberately to put on YouTube. It was more like I found YouTube was a good storage area for videos. I didn't take it seriously in the beginning. Certainly never thought I could take it further. Never thought of it. Never fancied it. It was only when I did a video as an actor. I say 6 years ago maybe. For a guy called Martin Lewis, who I know only a few of you might know. Puppy Breath is one. And that's back when he lived in Brisbane, and I met Martin. Really cool guy, and yeah. And I forget how many subscribers he had back then, but to me it was like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Quite a lot, 50,000 maybe, he had more. And I said, do you have any tips? You know, because I make YouTube videos too. He said, monetize everything. Yeah. So I know you have to, before you can, I was a YouTube partner quite early on. I can't remember if there's any criteria, but obviously I met it. And I was monetized, and I didn't monetize every video. I didn't really think about it all. Yeah, so, okay. Didn't mean anything to me. I know it's good to, okay, once you've reached your minimum of 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 hours watch time, then you can be monetized. Now, I've just recently passed 700,000 hours watch time, according to analytics. Now, that's quite a lot. But like I say, a lot of my old videos that aren't particularly great, some are really poor actually, they're still being watched. So you'll make a video today, you might not get many hits. You know, you might get 100 in a week. Go back to it in a year or even a few months and you go, oh, it's got more hits. It has to, because as time goes on, there's more people eventually will be searching and they'll stumble across your video. So just because you don't have many videos, many views at the moment, doesn't mean that will always be the case. I've mentioned evergreen type videos that will always get views, help videos, and is one of the hardest topics is making YouTube help videos. And again, I'll mention Alan Spicer as one of the relatively few people that have really made it and increasing at an exponential rate of how many people are watching. Because YouTube knows with him, oh, well, this guy tells you all about how to do this on YouTube. So they push him to the forefront. And well deserved too. It's a hard topic to get views on. So that was one thing I was going to say. And I'm sure there was something else, but I'll just get back to looking at the screen now because I haven't read most of what you've said because I've been trying to look at this dot. So any questions regarding how you might increase your YouTube channel views and presence? Again, I'm not a good example because I've always said I just make the videos that come to me, you know, in my head. I think, oh, I'll make a good video. Yeah, so don't necessarily do as I do, but do as I say. If you want to get ahead. Cheers. Yeah, 700,000 hours. That's quite a lot, isn't it? I remember it was only a couple of years ago I reached 400 subscribers. I thought, well, awesome, 400. And that is good. And then pretty soon after it was 500. Then the climb from there seemed to take a lot because you know, obviously I make a lot more effort in making videos now than I used to. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Real funny thing. I'm sure there was a couple other things I was going to say too, but like I say, you know, there's not many of you who have watched this live stream. Thank you for watching it. Or if you're playing it in the background another time, thank you for listening. But if there's questions, put them down in the comments. I promise you, guarantee, I will answer them. If they're not in the video, then feel free. If I can help, I will. That's just what I do. Yeah, anyway, I guess it's getting around about 11 a.m. now in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I am starting to hang to have a coffee and sit in the warmer out in the back. Okay, brought some water with me. Here's a non-sponsored ad. Yeah. All right, so I suppose I'll wrap it up there in a minute. Okay, so here's my little list. Little keywords. Yeah, okay. Hope you all caught my joke in the beginning. You can go and practice that with people. About the interrupting cow. It's one of my favourite ones. Anyway, okay, tags, titles. This is what confuses me when I make a proper video. If there's a lot of components to it, I generally will make notes. Then I'll almost always say them out of sequence like I've done today. And then when I get it to the edit suite, I've got to go, oh, well, that should be moved around here. It's really hard to know. You should try and capture your audience's attention earlier rather than later. It's fine to have a little introduction, a quick introduction, or even a snippet from the more interesting or a more interesting part of your video up the front as a preview. Yeah, it's a difficult thing. It's fun. It's the bulk of my life these days. I certainly haven't been doing much acting work this year for obvious reasons. And yeah, it's fun. It's very time consuming. It takes away a lot of things, time that you could have been doing other things with, but anyway, I still enjoy it. Now, I know, as usual, as always, the moment I stop this, I'll go, oh man, I forgot to mention that example. I think I've touched on a few of them, so. Well, here's another spontaneous one. When I started, obviously, what do you want to call your channel? Well, I didn't want to make some stupid name up like, Cowboy Riding Through the Night or something ridiculous. So, Steve Mac, because that's me. Yeah, exactly. Always do it for fun. First and foremost. Don't expect, and I know personally and of other people that seem to think, well, I'll make YouTube videos and, after a month I'll be on $1,000 a month. Good luck. One of the guys I started watching just makes his little, well, they're very risque, but in cartoon form, grade A, under A. He's come and gone, he's disappeared for the last 3 years, but anyway, he's come back again. And he literally, this was really shocking and a good example. He has nearly as many subscribers or views as the entire population of Australia. So he has something like 25 million. But here's the sad thing, and he really should have been keeping his eye on this. Although he's monetized, he's only made about $1,000 in the last year, because at the very end of it, there's 7 seconds of some music he's always used as his outro. Turns out that's copyrighted by someone else, and YouTube, in their wisdom, gives almost all the money to the person that wrote that song. I certainly agree, it's not fair. If it was like 7 seconds worth out of 5 minutes worth, yeah, that's totally fair. So that's a bit of a shock. So even enormous YouTubers don't always make that much money. The flip side is some of them are making extremely huge amounts of money. Yeah. We're not actually allowed to say what we make, but I make a lot more now than I used to, and it's still under $100 a month. Well under. But it is more than it was 6 months ago and more than it was a year ago, etc., etc. So that's just a nice little bonus. I mean, you can't buy much with that. But the point is, I take it more as a gratuity for putting in the effort and the time. But certainly never plan your YouTube career or YouTube channel around making a lot of money, because it's a lot harder to do than not do. Anyway, there we have it, folks. So this has been going for 59 minutes and 55, 56, 57, 58 seconds. So probably time I wrapped it up 1 hour. There we go. I realise a lot of this has been prattling on. I've tried to make it a little coherent and not too successful. I've been a little bit shivering through most of it, as you probably heard. Hopefully the video hasn't broken up. It certainly won't be from signal this time. As I said, like, I'll show you a bit of behind the scenes. Just over there is my office window. So that's where the Wi-Fi, where the modem is. Yeah. All right. I'll move to one side here. No, I'll move to this side. No, this side. Because I'm going to put up some links here, as I mentioned. One will be, I think I'll put the Had a Vlog playlist I made a couple of years ago. The first episode I kind of regret because it went too long, the intro, but the rest was helpful, I think. Things about what's the best camera and lighting and tripods, audio, etc. Yeah, cheers, thank you. And I might also put up the other playlist of YouTube help videos. Some of them I think will be helpful to some of you. And of course, somewhere down here I'll put my little subscribe, or up here, looks a good spot, there's a bit of space there. Anyway, all right, cheers everyone, have a good day. And for those watching, yep, please do leave a thumbs up if you haven't. That all counts as interaction too. It's another thing I was going to say. YouTube likes interaction. Now, whether that's comments or thumbs up or even thumbs down, it still sees as interaction. Clearly, it's better to get thumbs up than thumbs down. Most people don't seem to bother to even do that. Most people just watch videos, and it seems like too much effort to simply go click, like. Anyway, that's the way it is. Okay, well, yeah, thanks again everyone for watching, and have a fantastic day. Check out the links, and I'll also put some of those links in the description area if you look down below by clicking the show more button. All right, all the best, and cheers from Brisbane, Australia, yet again. See you everyone, bye. Yep. Yes, let's get this. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes, here we go. Bye.